Jesse has a question about the cross. If the cross is the definitive revelation of God,
And it is.
then isn't the resurrection at least a close second? I mean, the cross certainly seems rather ho-hum human without the resurrection.
Well, it would be ho-hum human without the resurrection. That's why, uh, give me the name of one of the million people that Rome crucified and all the time that they're in power. And you can't give any except for Jesus, because none of those guys rose from the dead. So you're right, Jesse, that the resurrection, it's not a close second, it's part of the first. The cross and resurrection are two sides of the same coin. The resurrection just makes clear what the cross is all about and gives us a reason for believing what the cross is all about. And it shows the victory of what the cross is all about. And so, yeah, it's two sides of the same coin. In fact, you could say it's a third side of a three-sided thing, because I would include everything in Jesus' life leading up to the cross is also part of the cross. So in Reformed thinking, it's the whole process of Reformation, the cross kind of became isolated from the rest, from Jesus' life and from the resurrection. The cross was, it got to be interpreted as sort of something that, well, the death is what counts. The death is what reconciles us to God. So that would have been true with Jesus would have died when he was 2 years old. If it was the death that's all important, which gives Jesus' ministry and his life and all those teachings, they're almost superfluous to getting saved, because the cross, God does that for us, and that's what gets us right with God. It's sort of just a prelude. Whereas I would argue that the cross sums up everything Jesus was about. And it's a through line that weaves all of it together. God's self-sacrificial love is his loving character. And all of that is the atonement. All of that is saving. Everything Jesus was, the word of life came here. And so part of what it means to be saved and to be in the process of being saved is that, yeah, you're trusting God to be this kind of God who loves you and all that. But precisely because you're getting loved, your heart's getting pulled to follow the teachings and to follow the example that Jesus set. And all of that is part of salvation. Yeah. Now, some folks bristle at that, saying, oh, that's works. Now you're trusting in works. But see, that is just so, Dan, I think that's such a fatal way of thinking, because now you made sanctification itself, or striving for Christ likeness, kind of a superfluous thing. As long as you're trusting, it goes back to that cheap grace sort of thing. But when I'm loving my wife and being considerate and remembering to her birthday and sending cards and whatever, I'm not working my way to marriage. I'm not like, oh, please, am I good enough now? No, it comes out of an abundance of love. The love of my wife compels me to be loving. So Paul says we're compelled by the love of Christ. All that we do should be coming out of that center of love. That's not about works at all. That's just, and that's what salvation is. Salvation is the life transforming relationship with God. And so that's why Paul can refer to it in three senses. Not just Paul, but the New Testament in general. We were saved, past tense. We are being saved, present tense. And we shall be saved, future tense. Why? Because we're learning how to be a good bride. We're in the process of being transformed into the likeness of our bridegroom, taking on his character so that we're compatible for our eternal marriage together.
Yeah, that's good. The tripartite coin. It's a Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin. Yeah.
We could call it the triangular reality, which makes sense because God is triune. Everything boils down to three. I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it. Well, you raised the point, like, name another person who was crucified. Well, no one, because only Jesus was resurrected. Right. But we have we have Lazarus who was resurrected, but that's no big deal because he didn't have the crucifixion and the life that Jesus had. And it really is all three of those things together that is so important.
Although Lazarus and whoever else was resurrected, Jairus' daughter, they died eventually. So it wasn't, they weren't resurrected to new life. They were resurrected to a prolongation of life.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but it's not the same as.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I like this.
They couldn't walk through walls like Jesus could with his transformed body.